What's up, my homies? Home Guy here. So, today I sent out a video about chess forks, and I just wanted to show you guys a couple of examples from actual games that I've played. So, this first one, and basically this only one, because I was just playing this guy, and I forked his king and his queen, and I wanted to show you guys it. It's really cool. If I can get this to work. But anyways, so I was just going and I was playing some chess. I tried to live stream, but my internet sucks a lot, so that was not possible. But anyways, so let's get right into it. I was the white pieces, and I opened with the queen pawn to d4, and then he opened with the d5 defense, where you just put those two pawns next to each other. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I don't really care. Anyways, so then knight, pawn. Well, okay, actually this position right here is actually the best thing that you can basically do in chess, because, you know, it was presented by Stockfish versus AlphaZero, the two top chess AI in the game. Anyways, so then we continue with a pretty average development. I actually started with this h-pawn, which it's actually a really good move because it prevents the bishop on c8 from advancing to g4. And that's a really key position because it can pin that pawn and stop the queen from advancing. Well, basically just pin it away from the queen and force me to move my queen. Anyways, so I did that, did whatever. And I really should have moved that a pawn to a3, because then he couldn't have done this, which put me in a pretty difficult position. Anyways, he did take it, and I did move that a pawn eventually. Anyways, I castle here, because, you know, you always want to castle. Castle kingside. Kingside is the best. Queenside's decent, but the problem with the queenside castling is that your king is just a little bit too far in, and if they have a bishop, they can check your king and kind of wreck you and possibly force you to move your king. No, your rook, sorry. I'm stupid. Anyways, they can force you to move your rook up and take your rook. Anyways, so I had this knight pinned. I did some cool pawn maneuvers. I moved that pawn up, takes. Then he didn't want to trade because it wouldn't have ended well for him. But yeah, you don't necessarily want to trade unless you get something from it. So we moved that knight there, but that pinned that knight. So I did some different stuff to get the knight out of the way. But he did take that pawn, which allowed me to do that, and then when he moved that knight there, it opened it, and it had, like, no defense at all, and I took it with my bishop like that, because I'm just that cool. So then, that was a really great move, because, you know, I got +3, and I put pressure on that rook. He did not see it, and he just took my pawn, which was a stupid move. I just don't think that he saw it. But I take his rook, king takes, and then I move my queen out, so I can pin that up. Knight there, I'll take that pawn, and he has no defense for it. So anyways, he tries to move, take that with my bishop, pinning it again. He does that, I take, he takes, and that was a really worthwhile trade because I had enough stuff, and it put me in a very, very good winning position. Because look, queen, and I check him, and then it's got like a continuous checking of me because I have that knight on e5. It's just so sweet. So then I just keep checking him. I put that rook there. It actually would have been really useful when he had it there, because I could have done a revelation mate. Well, revelation check, actually. And those things are so good because you can take a piece and they can't do anything about it. Anyways, I'll go over those in another video. You know me. So I'm just continuously checking him because, you know, he basically just has to keep moving his king around without developing any of his pieces. Well, I develop my pieces and take a bunch of his pieces, and it's super, super, super dope. So anyways, I continue doing that. So, and then here's the fork. So, anyways, I move my knight here to check his king, and I'm really, really, really hoping that he moves king to a7, and he doesn't see this beautiful, just beautiful. It's like a Louvre level masterpiece. Like, they could put this in the Louvre and it would make millions of dollars. So anyways, I forked those two pieces. If he hadn't moved there, and he moved somewhere like, let's say, A8, I could have taken with my queen and forked the king and the bishop, and I would have been in super good shape. Well, actually, that would have been a triple fork. It would have been a king, bishop, and knight fork. It would have been so great. And if he moved to A6, I could have done the exact same thing. And on I can't speak. Okay, so on B6, I could have also done the exact same thing because, I have that knight guarding A6, C6. I could have moved C6 and I would have been so great, Okay, so he moves there. I do that beautiful fork and win the game for me. This is completely winning for white because, look, he has to move there. And yes, he does take my knight, but, queens are worth 8 points. I'll go over point systems for those who don't know in a future video. But anyways, I take that pawn, I take that knight, do that, fork the king and the bishop. Beautiful fork again, as always. So I take that, move, I go there, fork that pawn and that king, do that. I have a bunch of pawns and a rook, so I just sack my queen, and you can see this beautiful thing that I do now. I'm moving him up to promote him, like I love to do, just messing with people. If he hadn't ran out of time, I could have gotten like 6 rooks and had an even better video for you guys. But I'm so sorry that this guy just cannot move faster. I'm so sad. But anyways, I get up there, get like 3 rooks. But sadly, as I said, this guy runs out of time, and it's so sad. Pray for me. Anyways, so I hope you guys are having a great Christmas break or whatever if you're in school. And if you work, then sucks to suck. Anyways, hope you guys are having a good Christmas break if you don't suck and work. Anyways, but I'm having a good Christmas break. Hope you guys are. So have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Peace.